How's it going, everybody? It's Andrew here again from the Real Molomof YouTube channel, and today we've got our Matchday 27 predictions for the Bundesliga. Now, in the Matchday 26 predictions, we didn't do that great. We got 4 from 9 correct, so I don't even know if there was a couple of correct scores thrown in there, but however, we go again this week, and we start this week with our Hertha Berlin against Union Berlin derby. This is red meets blue, this is east meets west. Union won the first game 1-0. I can't remember if I've seen it or not. I think I maybe missed that game, but I know that Union had won the match 1-0. The facts on the game, or the facts for the two teams, the stats for the two teams are that Hertha are on a three game straight games without defeat. They're on a 3-game run without defeat, and Union Berlin are on 3 games without any wins. They're on 3 straight losses, actually, to be a matter of fact. So I see this one as a very difficult one to call. I think this is going to be a typical derby. This is going to have a typical derby scoreline as well, and I think the home team will prevail here, especially after their big win against Hoffenheim last week, the 3-0. I'm going to go for Hertha Berlin 1, Union Berlin 0. And the next game we've got here is Borussia Mönchengladbach, and they're at home to Bayer Leverkusen. Again, another difficult game to call, which is sort of the way these games are this weekend, you know, especially after coming back from the coronavirus break and whatever. The games are looking pretty difficult to call. So this one, the stats in this game are that Gladbach are they're third in the home form table, but Leverkusen are third in the away form table, and both teams have near enough identical records in terms of the goals scored and the goals conceded. It's very, very close. I think there's maybe only 1 or 2 goals either way for each team in that respect. I was actually at the Bayer Leverkusen Borussia Mönchengladbach game at the Bayer Arena, and Leverkusen got beat 2-1 that day. All the goals came in the first half. Gladbach, they blitzed Frankfurt, didn't they, really? And Alisson Plea and Marcus Thuram, I think they scored within 8 minutes. So I'm going to go with my heart on this one, and I'm going to go for Bayer Leverkusen 2, Borussia Mönchengladbach 1. Next game I have is Freiburg, and Freiburg are home to Werder Bremen. Bremen have 7 defeats in their last 9 games in all competitions, and Freiburg, well, they showed that resiliency that I talked about in the first video. If you've seen it, they were quite unlucky actually not to come away with more than a point against Leipzig, although Leipzig did have 23 shots with 9 on target. And I did sort of mention the resiliency shown by Freiburg in the first game, and it sort of swayed my opinion on what I think the score is going to be. As for Werder Bremen against, they were playing Bayer Leverkusen on Monday night, and as for them, they were sort of shambolic defensively, and you've come to sort of expect it with Werder Bremen this season. You know, they're not in that position. I think they're 17th in the league, just above Paderborn, and they're not in that position for no reason. So with the defensive frailties of Werder Bremen and how Freiburg sort of handled the away trip to Leipzig, I'm going to go for Freiburg 2, Werder Bremen 0. So moving on, the next game we have is Paderborn, and they're at home to Hoffenheim. Paderborn, they survived a bit of a battering. I just watched the highlights of that match, and they survived a bit of a battering against Fortuna Dusseldorf on Matchday 26. And I was shocked at how Hoffenheim, I was so shocked about how Hoffenheim played at home last weekend against Hertha Berlin. I really did think they put up much of a better fight. The stats again are that Hoffenheim have won just 1 in 8 games, and Paderborn are 17th in the home form table, while Hoffenheim are 7th in the away form table. Although again, these two teams are very inconsistent, but I do have Hoffenheim edging this one, and I do think that Hoffenheim will win. And the scoreline I have here is 2-0 to Hoffenheim. So we're going to move on to our next games. And the next games we have is Wolfsburg, and Wolfsburg are at home to Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund have won the last 3 head-to-heads 2-0. So, sorry, not 2-0, but they've won it 2-0. So Wolfsburg haven't scored. And Wolfsburg haven't scored actually in, I think it's four seasons. I think they got beat 5-1 by Borussia Dortmund, and that was the only time they scored. I think that was back in 2016 actually. And we all know about Borussia Dortmund and what they did last weekend. Borussia Dortmund, they blew Schalke away in the Revier Derby in Matchday 26. That goes without saying, they were much the better team, although I did predict that one to be a draw. How wrong was I? But Wolfsburg, they did leave it last minute to win their last game, so that was actually away from home against Augsburg. And although Wolfsburg is 6th in the form table and have only one defeat in 10 games in all competitions, I just can't see them keeping Haaland and Sancho and Thorgan Hazard out. And Borussia Dortmund, on the flip side of that, they conceded quite a few goals away from home, and we were at the 4-3, the Bayer Leverkusen Borussia Dortmund game, and they let in 4 goals in that game as well. I don't think they're going to let in 4 against Wolfsburg, mind you, but I do fancy Wolfsburg to get 1, but I also fancy Borussia Dortmund to get 2. So my prediction in this one is Wolfsburg 1, Borussia Dortmund 2. Next game I'm going to predict is Schalke, and they're at home to Augsburg. And this is a matchup of two teams in desperate form. Schalke have just 1 draw in their last 5 games in all competitions, and they lost the other 4. Meanwhile, Augsburg are in a similar slump. They've actually only won 1 game. They've only actually got 1 draw in 6, and they've lost 5, so they haven't even won a game. And their talismanic striker, Florian Niederlechner, who I actually quite like, I think he's pretty good. He's actually got 1 goal in Augsburg's last win, and that was against Werder Bremen in Matchday 20. And as for Schalke, well, they've only scored twice since Matchday 21, and that's in all competitions. So this game at the Veltins Arena, I'm going to say Schalke 1, Augsburg 0, just about. And the next game we've got for you today is Mainz, and Mainz are at home to RB Leipzig, Rasenballsport Leipzig. Leipzig, they dished out actually the heaviest defeat that Mainz have ever faced in the Bundesliga. They got beat 8-0 in the reverse fixture, and that was back in match day 10. Leipzig had 23 shots against Freiburg, with 9 on target. So I think if Leipzig were on form, I did say that I thought Freiburg were unlucky to win, but if them chances are converted into goals, I do think that Leipzig could have won that match. And Timo Werner, I think he was off form. Marcel Sabitzer was actually benched, and I couldn't believe why he was actually benched. Maybe he had an injury or something, I don't know. And the stats for this are that Mainz are 15th in the Bundesliga, as we all know, and they're probably going to get drawn into a relegation scrap. They're at 15th. They're only, who's below them? Werder Bremen and Paderborn, and I can't remember the other team off the top of my head, but 15th in the league is not looking good for them. But I'm going to put my neck on the line on this game, and I'm going to say it's going to be Mainz 0, Leipzig 4. Leipzig 4. Where is my other sheet? I have Bayern Munich against Frankfurt is the next game that I have for you today. And Bayern Munich, they are the Bavarian machine, and they kept rolling against Union Berlin. They dominated the possession, they dominated the chances, they dominated the scoreline, and that's 11 wins from 12 in all competitions for Bayern Munich. Frankfurt, well, they got blitzed by Borussia Mönchengladbach in the last game at the Commerzbank Arena, and they conceded 2 goals inside 8 minutes. Again, there was Alisson Playa and Marcus Thuram. I think I actually mentioned that earlier. I don't know why I'm repeating myself. But in the reverse fixture, Bayern Munich, they actually got beat 5-1, and that was the final nail in the coffin for Niko Kovac. That was Kovac's last Bundesliga game in charge, and since Hansi Flick has taken over at the Allianz Arena, Bayern Munich have been in impeccable form. Again, with, as I say, 11 wins in 12 games. I just can't see a repeat of the last scoreline, which was 5-1. So I'm gonna predict here Bayern Munich 3 and Frankfurt 0. The last game I have for you today is FC Cologne against Fortuna Düsseldorf, and I thought Cologne threw the game away against Mainz in the last match day. They've only actually lost 1 game in 5, and they won 3 of them. So Fortuna Düsseldorf, they're 16th in the away form table as well, and 2 points separates these two teams. 10 points separates these two teams, and I actually think 10 points is still going to separate these two teams at the end of this match day weekend. And I'm going to go for an FC Cologne 1, Fortuna Düsseldorf 1. I'm going to go for a 1-1 in that game. So guys, that's my predictions for this weekend, match day 27. I also did another video last weekend. It was the top 5 players to look out for in match days, and it was sort of up late on Saturday, and I didn't mean it to be up so late on Saturday afternoon. But if it is something you would like to see, then you can let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, just if you like this, just to share and subscribe it as well. And I'll leave all my links in the description below. And thanks to everybody for watching this video, and I hope to see you next weekend. We're going to do Borussia Dortmund are playing Bayern Munich on Tuesday night at 5:30 BT Sport. Can't wait to get home from work to see it. We'll do a video maybe on Sunday night, or Sunday night for Monday, or Monday for very early Tuesday morning, and we'll hope to see you there again. So thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.